Don't you turn against me.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
You're not with me, then you're my enemy.
You thunder against me!
You have done that yourself.
Release your anger. Only your hatred can destroy me.
Bring balance to the force, not leave it in darkness. You are the chosen one.
Hello and welcome to Who Shot First, a Star Wars controversy podcast, your one-stop shop for all controversies that have plagued the Star Wars universe.
I'm your host, Alex, and with me is our other host, Ethan.
And today we're going to be talking about what some consider to be a controversy that started all controversies, the 1997 special editions. We will be focusing solely on the 1997 editions and not going into many changes later on. There will be brief mentions of the later releases only as a defense of the argument against the creation of them, because there are a lot of things with that.
Yes.
Other than that, but before we get into that, we did not do this in the previous episode, but how do we know each other, Ethan?
I guess
knows who we are.
That's right. I suppose a bit of background would be good.
Right. So Ethan and I are cousins, and we are both avid Star Wars fans.
I credit.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I credit my initial interest and fascination with Star Wars to you.
Really?
You know? Oh, sure. You know,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, you were in it. You were into it before I was, obviously, because you're older. But
well, yeah,
you know, right. But I would watch it. You know, you had the old VHS tapes, and we would watch.
You watched the old VHS tapes of the. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And then you had and then you had all of the mini play sets and stuff.
That is true. I think that
those
probably
were awesome.
hooked you in. Yep.
Totally.
The micro machines. Oh, those were so good, man. Those were so good.
So that, and then after that initial fascination, I saw episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, in theaters, which is the first one I'd ever seen in theaters. And that sort of cemented my love from there on out. I couldn't get enough of it after that. I loved everything about it. The story, I can go into the whole thing, but
correct.
I credit you. So
really, that makes me feel all warm inside. I didn't actually realize that. So awesome. Okay, so just a reason that I'm doing this podcast is I came up with the idea a while ago, and then we had our lovely Corona thing happen, and that kind of motivated me to create my own podcast. And then I tried it on my own, and I listened to it, and I'm like, this is garbage. I need a co-host.
Right. You gotta have some,
So I invited you in, and you were totally down, and here we are now.
That's right. I've always loved, talking about Star Wars in any capacity. So I usually don't have anyone else around me to do that. So
correct.
It's nice to finally have a way to kind of talk about my knowledge, which is more general, but
correct.
Still,
but you'll have a lot more knowledge when we get into like Clone Wars and stuff.
Sure.
Like that.
Right.
But
the more, I guess, modern.
More modern, yes. No, I would agree with that. But I will also say that I was motivated to do this podcast because of we're not going to go into it. It's going to become our own thing. But Rise of Skywalker, with our controversies.
That's right.
So that kind of motivated me to come up with the idea of the podcast, and then we've built it from there.
Yeah.
Without further ado, let's jump into our topic.
Okay, excellent. Let's do it.
And so we're going to start off with the arguments in favor of the 1997 re-releases.
Okay.
This is where the fun begins.
First of all, Ethan, are you a fan of the re-releases? Yes or no?
I am not. I guess after I I originally, the first time I had ever seen the original trilogy was on your VHS tapes. Which I'm assuming was the original. Yeah.
Yes.
Nope.
Yep. Very much so.
Right. So it wasn't until those came out that I started watching them again and realized that something was different. They had added different scenes and stuff, and yeah, it just felt, I don't know, out of place, a little unnecessary.
Okay.
And sort of like trying to either slap a new coat of paint on what was already a perfect movie, not a perfect movie, but a good movie, and it just seemed unnecessary. And I don't know. Yeah.
Just to get this out of the way, I too am a not big fan of the re-releases, but I will be trying to do my darndest to defend them, or at least bring up valid points for them on whether they exist or not. But to start it off, so the biggest positive for them is that they reintroduced Star Wars back into public life and they introduced a new generation to Star Wars.
Yes.
So that is the biggest event. A writer by the name of Germaine Lucier states, in 1997, the special editions provided a rare opportunity for Lucasfilm to introduce a whole new generation of fans to the big screen experience of the original trilogy stories, which had not been formally released together in the US since an extremely limited run in 1985. The theatrical special editions offered a far richer experience than what home entertainment could provide at the time, since high-definition presentations in the home were still quite a few years off. Most importantly, though, the special editions allowed parents who had fond memories of seeing the movies in their local theater as kids to share that experience with their own kids among a community of like-minded fans. It set the stage for families of all generations to come together for the prequel movies that followed and for the newest adventures that began in The Force Awakens. So basically, from the research that I found, Star Wars was very hard to find before 1997.
On to physically own it?
Like to physically watch it at home and everything.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. So my VHSs, which I noticed, which at the beginning of which each one goes like, watch the original Star Wars one last time. And so I think that's like the only time it was ever like released on VHS. Because the more I've done the research and everything, it's like, it was very limited releases. And like, it was literally like 10 years of you could not watch Star Wars.
Wow.
Yeah. So
did not realize that.
I didn't either until I found that. So Lucas had limited release of the films on VHS, which built up anticipation. The hype for the 1997 theatrical releases also brought in new fans that might not have known about Star Wars before. A Star Wars.com journalist and podcaster named Amy Ratliff states, the special editions were my introduction to Star Wars. If they wouldn't have been released, I don't know when I would have ended up seeing Star Wars. And if I wouldn't have seen Star Wars when I did, I don't think my life and career would be what it is now. So so that's what I found is a lot of important people and non-important like us, but a lot of important people and people have found that they were reintroduced to the idea of the prequel, or not the prequel, of the original of the movies.
They credit that release as their introduction,
as the hype and everything. Yep, and the releases, because again, it's very limited in the originals releases on DVD and VHS and everything. So what the 1997 editions are basically what people know.
Right.
Another benefit that I found is that some people really enjoyed, which I will fully say I am super envious of, being actually able to see the Star Wars movies on the big screen again.
Totally.
A film writer for the for AV Club in article called 1997 was the year Star Wars came back and never left. The writer wrote, I'd finally get a chance to see some of my favorite movies in a movie theater with updates that made them look the way George Lucas wanted them to look the first time around. The latter attribute turned out to be a bust, but it takes none of the magic out of watching a Star Destroyer zoom in overhead 50 feet tall for the first time. I will fully say I was actually really looking forward to the 3D releases of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
For this exact reason, because until Disney bought them and then they canceled those re-releases. Because they started with episode 1 and they were working their way through. And so they got up to, I think, Attack of the Clones. And then
that's it. Yeah.
And then they stopped because Disney bought them. Because that I was going to say, like, I would have gone to see that movie, even though it's a special editions, which I'm not a huge fan of, but like I would have been like to see Star Wars in a Star Wars movie theater. Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
yes. Another big thing is that it gives George Lucas what he wanted. Because according to George himself, the original trilogy Star Wars movies, the original 1977 releases and everything are not the way they were meant to be. They're not, George states himself, he was able to finish the film the way it was meant to be. That's his statement.
Yeah.
He really enjoyed adding back in the character of Biggs Darklighter.
Sure.
Because there are a bunch of deleted scenes that we didn't see in the originals of Biggs Darklighter, only to have him at the very end kind of show up, and then Luke has this emotional attachment to him, and we don't actually understand why that's happening.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it. And an article by the Gizmodo says the special edition added back in a cutscene of Luke and Biggs' reunion, and its presence at least gives us a sense of their relationship before Darklighter's untimely death. Adds a bit more humanity to the tragedy rather than, oh right, that guy. It makes Biggs' death sting a little more, another ratchet of tension to the battle across the Death Star. So, again, there are a lot of people in there. I mean, like, what's his name? What's the big guy's name that we...
Porkins?
Porkins, yes. He's fat and they call him Porkins. It's
Porkins.
So mean.
Yep.
So mean.
Yeah.
But like, we don't know that guy.
He's become a legend in his own right.
Correct, because of his name. Yeah. But anyway, so that's mainly with the original. But another big piece that a lot of people really enjoyed are the small changes and updated special effects with new technology that was unavailable at the release of the original.
Sure.
So that in that same Gizmodo article, it says small changes like this are littered throughout the now revised versions of the original trilogy. Improved lightsaber effects, making them appear more vibrant. The orange blur removed from under Luke's speeder. The Praxis effect added to the destruction of both Alderaan and the Death Star. Matte lines removed from the snow speeders during the Battle of Hoth, and so on, as well as the added X-Wings during the Death Star battle. I know that's a big one. And also in the Empire Strikes Back, a big thing that I had actually realized that I just saw the special edition Empire Strikes Back for the very first time.
Yeah.
Like this year. But it makes Cloud City look like Cloud City. Because when in the originals, it's just a lot of like white corridors. But in the special editions, according to that special edition trilogy article, to rectify this, the special editions used computer graphics to open up Cloud City's corridors, creating large windows with views of the city skyline and its puffy pink clouds. The effect is noticeable, but not intrusive, allowing for Cloud City to appear as truly idyllic refuge for our heroes. That is then twisted and distorted once it's revealed that the Empire has been there all along, laying a trap.
Right. Because I think the re-release had that scene where where Leia is in front of like the window, and they have the whole like cloud car fly by and stuff. I don't think that's in the original, is it?
I think that one is in the original.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I believe so. I could be wrong. But I know there's a lot in particular of like them walking in between locations. In the original, it's all just white hallways.
Right.
Just white hallways. And then due to the new additions, they made it so that it actually looks like they're on a cloud city.
Yeah, a bustling city. Right.
Right. So any of those changes make it worthwhile?
I can definitely see how those releases certainly kickstarted a lot of people's, love for Star Wars and interest in Star Wars, sort of the way the prequels did for me, because the things you read about make a lot of sense. It just seems like they could have re-released the originals from the 70s without having these changes to kickstart more fans' love. I don't think you necessarily needed to do a bunch of changes, but I guess to get people rehyped, you can say that you added new scenes and new special effects to capture the interest of a lot more people.
Correct, but the argument there is, why release the originals again in theaters? Because there's without making the changes. That's the argument, is that George had a reason to release them again because he wanted them to look the way he wanted them to look.
Yeah.
It's not anything where he has no reason to re-release them. He could just release them. But George had no, like, there's no reason to just re-release them to get people hyped. It's like he could have just released them on DVD or VHS at the time and then onto DVD and stuff. But it also, again, you're right in that it was a big marketing ploy to get people hyped for the prequels. That's what 1997 re-releases were.
Yeah.
Which I personally did not realize. I had not thought about that, and I did not put that in my brain at all. I just thought he was just like, okay, cool, here they are again. This is what I wanted. But
well, then when they were released in 1997, had they announced Episode 1 yet? They had. Okay.
I believe so, because I mean, like, it came out in '99.
Yeah.
So
I just
it if it hadn't been announced when they were officially, like, quickly released, they got released. It got announced real quick right after.
Yeah, yeah.
And it might have been like gauging interest of them, and then being like, okay, people still love these. Let's make the prequels.
Sure. Right.
But yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I understand, but
you understand. Yes.
Yeah.
And now we get to go into, yes. So we will now move on into our next section of why they're bad. So before we get into anything.
Is this the part where you're going to blow my mind?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But we did go into a whole episode about who shot first. So we're not going to go into that. We're not going to go into that big detail. Both of us think Han shot first. Again, a plot issue. Yes. But Lucas created these films. He created the releases to update the films and add CGI in the way that he always envisioned them, as he stated earlier, because he did not have the technology at the time of their original release. The problem with this that I've found, and that a lot of other people have found, is that many of the older special effects hold up a lot stronger than his updated CGI.
Yeah.
According to the Collider, the grand irony is that most of the CG changes made to these films don't hold up 20 years later. The best digital effects remain either the ones you don't notice, and while all the practical effects still look great, the CG changes are as dated as almost any other digital effect from 1997. It is very obvious.
Yep.
Unfortunately, most of the additions to Mos Eisley are obtrusive. So we're jumping to the Mos Eisley student. Extra people.
Extra people, creature that walks right in.
Droids, stormtroopers, Rontos, dewbacks. They litter the screen. So,
yes.
Okay. Even more offensive, these newly added characters and creatures will at times even block the action. For example, during the famous "These aren't the droids you're looking for" scene, the action is obscured not once, but 3 times as various new elements walk through the frame. A stream of people, some droids, and, as you just said, a Ronto that appears so close to the camera that all that appears in frame is a giant wall of reptilian flesh.
Yes. Yep.
These additions aren't only distracting and superfluous, but actually hurt existing and crucial scenes of the film.
100%. I remember.
That's from Screen watching Rant, that. But go ahead, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember watching that scene for the or the re-release, and just having that thing walk across the screen. I was like, wait, what is that? What's happening? And then it just walks off okay. I guess that was a thing. It was totally distracting and just totally unnecessary.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. It completely pulls you out of the film. Because again, it's 1997 computer graphics.
Yeah, and you're walking right in front of the screen.
Right.
Yeah.
1997. And also another thing that I did find is that what a lot of people don't know, 1977 Star Wars won a ton, a bunch of Academy Awards for special effects. And then when George releases the 1997 releases, he gets rid of a lot of those effects.
Seriously?
Because it's all practical. It's all practical. The special effects are all practical. And so he puts the computer generated versions and gets rid of a bunch of the effects.
Wow.
So there's right. Is Star Wars A New Hope the Academy Award winning film that it once was?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. If you're taking out all of the practical effects and just putting in or swapping it for computer generated stuff, that doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Can't believe that's a thing.
So
great.
So our next wonderful topic on these wonderful scenes are
the Jabba scene?
Added scenes. Yep.
Yeah.
Jabba scene is the biggie one.
Yeah.
So basically, George decided that he wanted to add Jabba the Hutt, or he was originally added in the film. They originally had Jabba the Hutt in the original film.
Yep.
And they decided that he did not have the computer effects, and so they couldn't have that scene. So they cut that scene. George really liked that scene and put it back in. There's 2 big problems with that. First of all, it looks awful.
Awful. Just terrible.
Jabba's CGI is awful because it was originally a man. They just had a man walking around as the gangster.
Yes.
And it is also the second, I would even say bigger part of, the scene doesn't make sense.
Right.
It doesn't make sense because Greedo.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
There's an editor. There's an editor who who did an interview about it and said they literally rewrote the Greedo scene to explain everything that was happening in that Jabba scene in order to make it work for the movie. George doesn't change the Greedo scene.
Nope.
Doesn't change the Greedo scene. And so basically Greedo tells him, Jabba has put a bounty on your head And then all of a sudden, Jabba's right there, and he's totally okay with Han, and he's like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get you your money. Doesn't make sense.
Right. Pretty sure you just put a bounty on my head, and now I'm looking you right in the face. And it's fine. Wow. I also would argue that, you ruin the mystery of who Jabba the Hutt is. You get these, just hear about him, and then you keep hearing about him in Empire Strikes Back, and then finally he's revealed as this like grotesque, disgusting, crime lord boss, and I think that's a great reveal as this sort of mysterious, character. And the fact that his CGI version doesn't look a thing like his Return of the Jedi self.
His CGI version is small.
Yeah.
Is small. Like the Return of the Jedi, he's a big, huge slug gangster.
Hutt.
Versus in the New Hope version, he's not.
Right.
He's very small because the actor himself was small.
Yeah, Jabba just packing on the pounds there those couple of years. And also too that since it was a guy walking around, with Harrison Ford,
Han Solo walks behind him.
Yes, they have to
Han
edit
Solo
him.
walks behind him. And so they have to make, again, similar to your statement earlier in the last episode about how they weirdly alter Han's head to avoid the blaster shot.
Right.
They, again, have to weirdly alter Han so he's not actually to get over the slug tail. And he's not taking any kind of a step over anything. He's just walking straight, and then he just slides up and over. And then we get the weird.
Yeah. We have to make sure that people know he was like.
We are gonna play the
tail.
whole clip. We're gonna play the clip.
Okay. All right.
And you're gonna get the whole. And you're just like, what is this for? This is not a gangster.
Look, Jabba, even I get boarded sometimes. You think I had a choice?
No. A gangster who apparently at the scene before just placed a giant bounty on your head.
Yeah. Also, I think an argument for the scene that George has made, and that a lot of people have made of like George. They think that George wanted to introduce Boba Fett again,
right?
And introduce him early because that's technically the first time we see him.
Yes. Now,
if you are going by the re-releases, you see Boba Fett in that scene.
Yep.
The thing about that is nobody cared about Boba Fett. Like Boba Fett, like we'll go into this later, but like Boba Fett shouldn't be cool.
That's
like
the thing,
there's
right?
literally nothing cool. Like has like 5 lines in the entire series, and should not say anything. Yeah. It should not matter.
I think his total lines is like maybe 2 minutes, maybe
if that.
Yeah.
But like he's on screen, not even that long. But again, people didn't know who he was, and so they loved him. Yep. And so George thought, "Hey, people love him. I'll give you more of him." That's not what we wanted, George. It's not what people wanted.
And and the fact that he looked super awesome too, that just
correct
even helped the mystique. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there actually is complaints on the other 2 movies. One complaint that I personally have and that I've heard other people have, there's a thing called less is more.
Yep. Sure.
When the Wampa attacks Luke on Hoth, in the original version, you never see the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You never see the whole Wampa. You see his arm come and attack Luke, and then you see a big burly thing coming closer to him, and then you see the arm get cut off, and you see like a grill or like a face as it tries to attack him quickly, and that's it.
Yep.
The reason they did that is because they couldn't make the suit work. The suit didn't work.
Okay.
So I don't know entirely. Didn't find out what happened, whether he put the original scenes back in or whether he reshot those scenes, because I do know there were reshoots.
Yeah.
Because Boba Fett is put in there. He is not in the original, and they actually reshot that scene so that he's in there. And he's they also reshot scenes so that he's in more of Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi than he was in the original. But again, you look at this big thing and you can obviously tell it's a puppet or it's a guy in a big suit.
Oh, yeah.
It is so obvious that you're like, this is not a scary thing.
Right. It's a guy in a suit. Yep.
But that's only, I would say that's a minor critique of Return of the Jedi, of Empire Strikes Back. The bigger problem that a lot of people have is that George changes the song in Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, like he adds that gross.
No, there's a song called Jedi Rocks. I'm going to play it for you right now. He created it. That's what he named it.
Yep.
And it has like a weird bug-eyed thing dancing and singing. It's awful. It's awful. If you haven't seen it, I'm impressed.
I have not seen it
because
actually.
There's the original that has the I don't remember her name, but the girl with the long mouth.
Yeah. Yep.
And she's a puppet. She's obviously a puppet. It looks like a puppet, but it's still good. Like I mean, considering it was 1983, I think when it came out, it's still good.
Yeah.
But she's singing like a song, and it's an interesting song, and and I'll play that one for you too. He gets rid of that song, and he puts in this. He just cuts it, and he puts in this other song, and then the man actually and this is where bad CGI comes into play too, because the person is like jumping around and then like yells or is like singing into this, and then the camera like goes into his mouth.
Yeah, that's okay. So is that the one where it's like, ooh,
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's it. So okay. So yeah, that's the one you've heard. You haven't heard the original?
No.
Do you not remember the original? Because you probably have.
I must not remember the original.
Oh, the original is like, it's not fantastic, but it's so much. It makes so much more sense.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. Then I thought. Okay. For a second, I thought you were like referring to something else other than that.
No.
That's the one.
So,
yeah. Okay, because that's the one they. Just a quick side note. That's the one they play in Battlefront 2. When you're doing the heroes versus villains on Mos Eisley, the original Battlefront 2, that's the song you hear like basically the entire time. But so yes, I've heard that.
Fun.
And the original scene is bad.
Yeah. No. Yep. So because I'm going to read this for our Screen Rant article. In an absolutely baffling decision inside Jabba's palace, Lucas changed the short interlude into a full-blown musical number, now featuring a song called Jedi Rocks. The Max Rebo Band's lead singer, Cy Snoodles, is a digital creature.
That's right.
Though her practical puppet is still visible in a previous shot, and she is joined by the obnoxious and hairy Joe Yowza. It's literally his name, Joe Yowza.
Nice.
To call the scene distracting would be an understatement. Visually, it's incongruous with the dingy, smoky atmosphere of Jabba's palace, largely in part because of how badly the CGI aliens mesh with the real actors and sets. The new song also doesn't fit the mood of the setting, making the change feel a lot more abrasive. So, yeah, it's very interesting the way that song plays.
Yes, it's all coming back to me now, and I totally can just, I don't even need to see the clip or hear the clip. It's ingrained in my brain as this scene, especially the last part where he like runs up to the camera and like yells.
Yep.
Yeah. Terrible.
So going along with songs, another edited scene was the removal of the Yub Nub song at the very end of the film.
Yub Nub. Oh, with the Ewoks.
The Ewok song.
Yeah.
This is a positive and a negative because there are many people who believe that this is a good change.
Yep.
Getting rid of the Yub Nub and everything.
Yeah.
The problem that is the bigger issue is the celebrations of different planets from around the galaxy.
Yeah.
Many have raised questions about how these different planets learned so quickly of the destruction of the Death Star and the death of the Emperor. Another flaw is with these scenes are why are two Empire-controlled worlds, Coruscant and Bespin, why do they allow celebrations of an Imperial defeat?
Yep, especially the defeat of their Emperor.
Yeah. A massive, and these are Imperial-controlled worlds.
Right.
And they're celebrating.
I think all of them weren't they? Every single one that they showed?
I think they actually show Tatooine celebrating.
Do they? The Mos Eisley?
So.
That doesn't make okay. Well, that's weird.
But I think they also show Naboo in a later cut and stuff like that. But
it's just, right.
But
it's
I don't know if that one's.
It's Coruscant, Naboo, Bespin, Tatooine, and that might be it. I don't think there were that many.
No. But again, it's like why are they allowing people to celebrate?
And and it's massive crowds with like, fireworks.
There's fireworks and everything.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. That's totally that's something I never really thought about, honestly, until just now. Because in that moment you're like, oh, that's nice, they're all celebrating. But then just take a step back and think, wait a minute. They should all be arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Now I'm about to totally blow your mind.
Okay. All right. I'm ready.
This is about George Lucas.
Okay.
So a big problem a lot of people have with the special editions is that there is no access to the originals. George Lucas, until he sold Disney, had refused to release them. He released them once.
Yeah.
after the new editions were released. He released them, I think, on Blu-ray, in a box set that you had to find.
It was Blu-ray, really?
I don't. Oh, no. You're right. It was not Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It was like Ultra HD or something. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I have the ones. The collection I have is the ones on DVD where you got the original version on one DVD and then the re-release on another.
Yep. That's the one time he's ever released them.
Yeah. Right.
But the big problem with it is people just see a complete lack of empathy from George Lucas. He does not care that other people liked his original versions better.
Yes.
Does not care in the least.
Wow.
From his own words, in an interview in 2004 with Today.
All right.
He says, most artists, most painters, even composers would want to come back and redo their work now. They've got a new perspective on it. They've got more resources. They have better technology, and they can fix or finish the things that were never done. I wanted to actually finish the film the way it was meant to be when I was originally doing it. Well, the film only came out to be 25 or 30% of what I wanted it to be. They said, "What are you talking about?" So finally, I stopped saying that. But if you read any interviews about an 8 or 9 year period there, it was all about how disappointed I was and how unhappy I was and what a dismal experience it was. It's too bad you need to get kind of half a job done and never go finish it. So this is my chance to finish it. The special editions, that's the one I want out there. The other movies, it's on VHS. If anybody wants it, I'm not going to spend we're talking millions of dollars here, the money and the time to refurbish that. Because to me, it doesn't really exist anymore. It's like this is the movie I wanted to be, and I'm sorry you saw a half-completed film and fell in love with it. But I want it to be the way I want it to be. I'm the one who has to take responsibility for it. I'm the one who has to hear everybody throw rocks at me all the time. So at least if I'm going to get rocks thrown at me, they're going to throw rocks at me for something I love rather than something I think is not very good, or at least something I think is not finished.
Wow. That's crazy to me that you could feel that way about something you created originally that so many people loved, and it was such a positive reception, and now you're basically telling everyone, screw you.
Yep.
I don't like
that's what a lot of fans feel. Yep.
Right. I don't like, right. It sounds almost like, oh, well, this is my property, so I'm going to do what I want with it. Or, what you just read sounded, I don't know, I got a very whiny vibe from it. That's really incredible.
Yeah. He also is lying as well.
How so?
It doesn't cost millions of dollars to refurbish the films.
Oh, okay.
There is a website called, let me give him a shout out right here, Project 4K77.
Okay.
And they are going back and they have re-edited or put together the original series, the original trilogy. They're working on their trilogy. They've finished A New Hope, and I believe they've also finished Empire Strikes Back, of transforming them, the original films, into 4K.
Wow. Okay.
Now they are spending money. They are doing they're spending their own money. They ask for donations and stuff like that.
Yep.
But they've spent like thousands of dollars. It's not the millions that he claims it to be.
Yeah. Would have been necessary. Right.
So again, it's his desire. They have finished upgrading. Yeah. So I found it out. They finished upgrading A New Hope into Ultra Definition in 2019. And they have spent just about a little over $10,000.
Okay. Well,
for one of the films.
Significantly less.
Yes.
Did they have permission from Lucasfilm to do that?
They're just doing it as film preservists.
Okay, so
because George refuses to release them.
Right. Okay.
He's gone even so far, just to blow your mind even more. So Star Wars is in the Library of Congress, right? You know that? Okay.
Yes.
It's the special editions. George has gone so far as refusing to allow the Library of Congress National Film Registry to get its hands on a copy of the original films.
Wow. So going so far as to make sure that history doesn't remember the original cut.
Correct.
Wow. That's wild. Can't even, yeah.
Again, get to blow your mind again, because this is another interview that George has said about the films.
Okay.
He said, they all think outside the box, but they all have very strong ideas about what should happen. And they think it should be their way, which is fine, except I'm making the movies, so I should have it my way. To me, the original movie doesn't really exist anymore. I'm sorry you saw half a completed film and fell in love with it, but I want it to be the way I want it to be.
Yep. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy, man. You could just be that unwavering, unwilling to even want to accept that people love the original cut. That's baffling to me that here's something everyone's telling you they love, and you're saying no. If you don't love what I like, the new version I laid out, then you're only loving half a film or whatever.
That's only half a film, according to George.
That's, oof, man. That's tough. I can definitely see why people would be quite upset about that. And you said that was from 2004?
Yeah, 2004 interview. Okay. And he has not really changed his mind. He's done a bunch of different interviews. So basically, from my feeling on it is, I would be totally okay if George kept George isn't in charge anymore, but I understand that he wanted to make a different film, and he wanted it to be done the way that he wanted it to be done.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with it is, again, you're making a film, it's going to get criticized.
Sure.
That you have chosen this industry. This is how it's going to work.
Yeah.
The fact that he refuses to release the other versions so that you can have a side-by-side conversation, and again, have it in a situation where you have the originals and the despecialized editions, just like you did, the DVD version, but release them as a Blu-ray, so that or something like that, where you have to buy both.
Right.
Most people are going to do that. I would do that.
Right.
I wouldn't really watch the special editions, but I'd pay the extra $20. You could even charge astronomical prices for this probably, and it would still sell.
Oh yeah. Sure you could.
That's my feeling on it, is that fine, you have two versions, and I see a lot of the positives of the special editions, where it reintroduces a whole new generation. It gets rid of a bunch of there's a legit scene in the original Star Wars where Obi-Wan Kenobi is using his lightsaber, and you can literally see it's a light stick. Yes. In one of the shots. He updates that, so it's all a lightsaber. And you're that's a good change.
Sure.
So there's all these updates, and I'll say it's just those updates are fun. And even the updates that I don't necessarily like are fine if you give the people an option of getting both. You have two versions? Great, George. Let people choose.
Yeah.
You have your version. We have ours. The people who grew up with them are going to like them anyway. That's my big thing. It's
right.
The fact that he won't, because he claims that they are destroyed. He claims that it is impossible now to... They don't exist. That he destroyed the originals. Which doesn't make any sense as a filmmaker.
No, that's absurd.
So if he did it, that's truly vindictive.
Yeah. Wow. I hope not, because that would be insane.
So, but the website I talked about earlier, they have been able to track down films, so that they've been able to track down maybe not the master copy, but they've been able to track down film collectors who have the original versions, and so that's where they've been able to edit it and update it.
Okay.
So
it makes sense.
Did I blow your mind at all?
Oh yeah, that was I had no idea just how much he hated his original work and trying so hard to keep it from the public eye and just sort of kind of really alienating that whole fan base. Yeah, absolutely. That's astonishing. Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah. And sad too. It's
sad,
terrible that he feels that way, that there can't be two versions. It's my updated version or nothing, and to go so far as to claim, I guess, that the originals are destroyed. Yeah. Insanity.
Well, that brings us to the end of our episode.
Yes.
Thank you all for listening. If you would like to contact either Ethan or I, you may contact us through Twitter at
WhoShot1SWPod. That's WhoShot1SWPod. The 1 is a number 1.
Or through email at whoshotfirstswpod@gmail.com. That's whoshotfirstswpod@gmail.com. That's whoshotfirstswpod@gmail.com. So any final thoughts there before we go, Ethan?
Nope. It's a good wrap up. Why don't you tell people, do we have our next week's topic?
Oh, yes, our next week's topic. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, we have next week's topic. Next week's topic, we dive into Phantom Menace.
Okay.
The Phantom Menace on a general sense. We will be diving into each individual topic, some individual topics, but more of just in a general sense, the Phantom Menace.
Okay.
So the original prequel. So we will have a wonderful chat on that sucker.
Never tell us the odds.
Never tell us the odds.
Never tell me the odds.
People are counting on us. The galaxy is counting on us. Solo, we'll figure it out. We'll use the Force. That's not how the Force works. Oh, really? You're cold?
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
Don't you turn against me.
Before the dark time.
You underestimate my power!
You thunder against me!
You have done that yourself!
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Chancellor Palpatine is evil! From my point of view, the Jedi are evil!
Release your anger. Only your hatred can destroy me.
Bring balance to the Force! Not leave it in darkness!
You're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Now you have become the very thing you swore to destroy.
You are the chosen one!